Hi everyone. So chapter 4. I'm not going to start at the very beginning of the chapter. I'm going to start on page 52. So just to let you know what's happened before page 52 in this chapter. In the last chapter, Hazel had her 33rd half birthday, which made her 16 and a half. In a moment, I'm going to start on page 52 of chapter 4. And at the beginning of the chapter, Hazel is reading in bed. She's reading her favourite book that she's read hundreds of times by her favourite author, Peter Van Houten. And remember that the book is about another girl who's got cancer. And so she feels as though the author is the only person in the world who really gets how she's feeling. There's only one thing she doesn't like about the story, and that's how it ends. It ends really abruptly without saying what happens to the girl in the story, whether she lives or dies. And so Hazel's got lots of questions for the author, and she keeps writing to him to ask them. Questions like, did the girl Anna die? Did her mum get remarried? What happened to the hamster? So far the author's not sent a reply, but writing to him has become a bit of an obsession for her. So we join the story on page 52, and don't forget that Hazel has lent the book, to her favourite book, to her boyfriend Augustus. So, page 52. And I'm going to start after this little gap here where it says the next morning. The next morning, I had 20th century American poetry at MCC, that's her college. This old woman gave a lecture wherein she managed to talk for 90 minutes about Sylvia Plath without ever once quoting a single word of Sylvia Plath. When I got out of class, Mum was idling at the curb in front of the building. "Did you just wait here the entire time?" I asked as she hurried round to help me haul my cart and tank into the car. "No, I picked up the dry cleaning and I went to the post office. And then—" "I have a book to read," she said, "and I'm the one who needs to get a life." I smiled, and she tried to smile back, but there was something flimsy in it. After a second, I said, "Do you want to go to a movie?" "Sure. Anything been wanting to see?" "Let's just do the thing where we go and see whatever starts next." That's quite a good idea. She closed the door for me and walked around to the driver's side. We drove over to the Castleton Theatre and watched a 3D movie about talking gerbils. It was kind of funny, actually. When I got out of the movie, I had 4 text messages from Augustus. How exciting is that? "Tell me my copy is missing the last 20 pages or something." "Hazel Grace, tell me I have not reached the end of this book." "Oh my God, do they get married or not?" My God, what is this? Oh dear, I think my raised voice made my dog disappear. "I guess Anna died and so it just ends. Well, it's cruel. Call me when you can. Hope all is okay." It's interesting that Augustus feels the same as Hazel about the unsatisfactory end of the book where the questions are left unanswered. So when I got home, I went out in the backyard and sat down on this rusting latticed patio chair and called him. It was a cloudy day, typical Indiana, the kind of weather that boxes you in. Our little backyard was dominated by my childhood swing set, which was looking pretty waterlogged and pathetic. Augustus picked up on the 3rd ring. "Hazel Grace," he said. "So, welcome to the sweet torture of reading an imperial—" I stopped when I heard violent sobbing on the end of the line. "Are you okay?" I asked. "I'm grand," Augustus answered. "I am, however, with Isaac, who seems to be decompensating." More wailing, like the death cries of some injured animal. Gus turned his attention to Isaac. Dude, does support group Hazel make this better or worse? Isaac, focus on me." After a minute, Gus said to me, "Can you meet us at my house in, say, 20 minutes? "Sure," I said, and hung up. You see then there's a little gap, a gap that's bigger than the normal gap with a paragraph. That's to tell the reader that a little bit of time has gone past. The other thing the author does is she goes on to describe a flashback. And that flashback is to give us the idea that the journey that she's making to Augustus's house is taking some time. Quite a good way of using a flashback. If you could drive in a straight line, it would only take 5 minutes to get from my house to Augustus's, but you can't drive in a straight line because Holiday Park is in between us. Even though it was a geographic inconvenience, I really liked Holiday Park. When I was a little kid, I would wade in the White River with my dad, and there was always this great moment when he would throw me up in the air, just toss me away from him, and I would reach out my arms as I flew, and he would reach out his arms, and then we would both see that our arms were not going to touch. No one was going to catch me, and it would kind of scare the shit out of both of us in the best possible way. And then I would legs flamingly hit the water and then come up for air uninjured, and the current would bring me back to him as I said, "Again, Daddy, again." So that was her little flashback. I pulled into the driveway right next to an old black Toyota sedan I figured was Isaac's car. Carting the tank behind me, that's her oxygen tank, I walked up to the door. I knocked. Gus's dad answered. "Just Hazel," he said. "Nice to see you."